Intercontinental Championship, Fatal 4-Way match. We had The Miz, we had Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, and Cara. Now, I thought that this was going to be a ton of botches, and there weren't really as many as I expected. So
Oh,
it
I
was
didn't even
actually
notice any,
it was actually
actually.
kind of good. I mean, there were some obvious botches in the beginning, like there was a Hurricanrana where the Miz what was it? It wasn't the Miz. It was Cody Rhodes, I think. Mysterio jumped over the top rope, and then Cody just kind of like, I guess I'm going over there, and like ran himself, and uh, there's kind of some crap like that, but
Yeah, shit happens in matches, you know.
especially if
Nothing
it's
can be
Mysterio and
perfect.
Sin Cara, you know.
Actually, Mysterio isn't really that big of a botcher, in my opinion. Rarely. I think he's actually pretty crisp in the ring for the most part,
I did
despite his
like
age and physical.
I did like the one botch where, and you can't discredit Mysterio for this, but Mysterio, this is my favorite part of the whole match. Mysterio goes to give his mask to a little kid, and he just starts bawling out of fear. I laughed so hard at the
What
beginning of
happened?
Mysterio goes to give his mask to this little kid in the crowd at the beginning
And
before
a
they
kid
started.
just starts crying because
Just
Mysterio's like right beside him.
yeah, he just starts crying his eyes out and
I
gives it to
didn't.
another kid.
Because
I didn't
Mysterio
even.
like gives him a rapey look. That's why. Because we used to do that thing where he put his head on the kid's head,
Yeah, when he
and
was
the
whispering
parents
to
got
them.
uncomfortable.
But oh, it was just hilarious. That was my favorite part of the entire match, and it wasn't even the match itself.
Well,
It was
That
like
I'm
a
speaks
glad they brought out the
volumes.
Tower of Doom spot. That's always pretty cool to see.
yeah. I mean, there were cool spots in the match. I thought that Sin Cara did a pretty
Hey,
good suicide dive.
one of Sin Cara's better matches since actually coming to the fucking company.
Yeah,
I still think his best match is probably the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match where he got powerbombed through a ladder, but that's beside the point.
and then was missing for 90% of the match.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But while he was there, he didn't fuck up at all, so that can be to his credit. I think this would probably be his second best, especially because it was on pay-per-view. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
certainly
but it
was.
was a good, fun, fast-paced opener. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
And I
Yeah,
did
You
like
know,
Mrs.
the ending was creative.
Very creative.
It
with
was
the
very creative with
stuff.
Miz being blindfolded, thinking he had Sin Cara, and he pins Cody, which I thought was really interesting. I thought he might
Yeah.
have just get the pin on Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio when they weren't expecting it. Very creative finish. I like the finish a lot. Um,
Yeah, I like that. As much as I don't like the idea of Cody getting pinned, somebody has to get pinned. So
yeah.
why not do that? That way, it kind of made it look like
Well,
it was kind of interesting instead of just having the Miz, I don't know, hit Cody
well,
Rhodes.
yeah, and Cody wasn't expecting it. He thought Miz was blindfolded, trying to take the mask off somewhere, and he was setting. I think he was setting Sin Cara up for Crossroads, and then Miz came from behind with the skull crushing finale. With the mask on because he assumed it was just Sin Cara there, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was an interesting booked finish.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it added to the match anyway. A cool way for Miz to retain the title.
Yeah, and it was sort of a surprise to Miz as well, which I found hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, he sold it pretty well. Like, oh wow, I pinned him, really? I couldn't even see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe
Miz
Sin
is
Cara
great.
can't see through his mask. You know?
Maybe that's why he botches.
That's what I say. I think the mask has a lot to do with it. That and the mood lighting, but there's no mood lighting here, and he performed better. Maybe that's a sign of something.
Maybe, yeah. Well,
Anyway,
this strengthens my idea that I think that Mysterio and Sin Cara need to be tag champs.
oh, they'll get the belts
Yes
at
and
some
no.
point. I think by early next year they'll be champions.
I'd like to see them win it around Survivor Series.
They might.
Keep it until about the
I
Royal
think
Rumble
them
and then
winning
kind
the
of
tag
split up.
titles, if like all rumors come true, I think them winning the tag belts, they'll kind of do like a John Cena, Shawn Michaels thing where like their egos will kind of get in the way and they'll cost themselves the belts before WrestleMania, and that's what kind of builds up to their match if that's what WWE's planning
Yeah.
for WrestleMania 29. So I could see them doing that kind of an angle with those two.
And I would love to see if they did that match and one of them had to turn heel. I would love if Rey Mysterio turned heel. I mean, they're not going to do
I
it.
don't think it. I think it would ruin the quality. I don't think it needs to be. I don't think one of them needs to be heel. Why not just?
Yeah.
I want to know who's better.
I'd be fine with a face versus face match, but
Those
if
work
somebody needs to turn heel, I'd rather it be Mysterio because
Well,
just something different. You know what I mean?
well, and Sin Cara, how is he going to be a heel? Is he going to do middle fingers instead of pointing at people? I mean, how is he going to show his heelness? Well, he
Yeah,
gets
that's
he
what
gets
it's
attacked
giving
from
now.
behind and stuff like that, but he can't do much. At least Ray can speak English, So,
Yeah, the middle
but yeah,
finger is
the
Orton's
match is
thing.
a very, very good way to open the show. Got me invested, and that's good.
Yep.
That's
Better than
Yeah,
I
it was
thought
a it was
gonna
a
be.
good match. Again, botches aside, it
Ah,
wasn't that bad of a Sin Cara match.
Yep.
that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
So it was a good way to open the show.
Yeah. Next part, we're gonna talk about the tag team championship. Good little transition there from future tag champs to the current ones and the past ones since we had a title change. So next part, tag team championship.